Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Jagat Maulana Tirta Chandra from English Literature Universitas Pasundan. This video was made is fulfill the final exam of a citizenship education course. Here I will explain the PowerPoint, which is contain the material of national resilience and defending the country. And also, this PowerPoint was made original by myself. Enjoy the video. Okay, let's start. The title is National Defense and State Defense. This material was taken from the 14th meeting. This PowerPoint will explain as many as 8 sections. The first explain the concept of national defense and defending the country. The second explain what national defense is. Next, explain what state defense is. The fourth is the concept of state threat. 5 and 6, state threats are divided into 2 categories, namely traditional threats and non-traditional threats. 7. I will explain the function of national defense and state defense. And the last one, I will give the conclusion. Okay, before explaining the concept, we need to realize that national defense and state defense is currently seen by 2 things. Namely, the first is the phase of Indonesian national defense. The second is layered national defense. National defense has dimensions such as ideological, political, and cultural. National defense and the concept of layered defense start from self, family, regional, and national defense. Then, what is meant by the national defense? National defense is a dynamic condition of a nation that contains national toughness and tenacity in facing and also overcoming all kinds of challenges as well as threats, disturbance, and obstacles both from outside and within the country. According to the Sigit Dwi Kusrahmadi, the term national defense is related to the determination to fight for national interests. National defense is a dynamic condition of a country which contains tenacity and a desire to face all challenges and obstacles that threaten the identity, integrity, and life of the nation. There are 2 points of view of national defense. First, point of view as a concept. This point of view views national defense as a description of conditions that should have been met. The second is the point of view as an approach or a method. This point of view is used as a method of carrying out state development in achieving national goals. I will give 3 examples of national defense. First, fair law enforcement. Second, an orderly economic system. 3. The character of the young generation is strong and they love their nation. Next, we will discuss national threat. The Law of the Republic of Indonesia number 3 of 2002 concerning national defense threat. What is meant by a threat is every business and activity, both domestic and foreign, which is considered to endanger the sovereignty of the country, the territorial integrity of the country, and the safety of the entire nation. National threats are divided into 2, namely traditional and non-traditional threat. The first is traditional threat. namely threat in a form of military power from other countries in the form of aggression or invasion that endanger the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of the unitary state of the Republic Indonesia. For example, war and military aggression from foreign countries. We, as a nation of Indonesia, have both advantage and disadvantage. The drawback is that we have a lot of debt to the other countries, while the advantage is that if our country is attacked, then the countries that we borrow money from will be angry with the countries that attack us. Secondly, non-traditional threats occur such as threat to marine and fishery resource, custom, immigration, narcotic, terrorism, and other threats. In non-traditional threats, there are an example, namely the 3F: fun, food, fashion campaign, which destroy culture. The first is fun. For example, how traditional music is lost and some young people today just let it go. But some people who are involved in traditional music need hours to play it in order to be able to provide for their family. The second is food, which is packaged using banana leaf, because banana leaf can be broken down again. But some people have changed their mindset. They think, why not use styrofoam, which is more hygienic, practical, but the problem is that the waste cannot be decomposed. And the last one is fashion. For example, the change from the traditional Indonesian way of dressing to the Western one. Next, we will discuss the function of national defense and state defense. We start with the function of national defense. The essence of Indonesian national defense is the ability of the nation and state to face all forms of threat, which today have an increasingly broad and complex spectrum, both in the form of military and non-military threat. While the state defense function is a state defense activity which is basically an attempt by citizens to realize national defense. Defending the country is the attitude and action of citizens who are organized, comprehensive, integrated, and sustainable, which are based on love for the motherland and awareness of the life of the nation and state. Basically, this can be interpreted as a defense against physical attacks or aggression from those who threaten the existence of the country. While non-physically, this concept is interpreted as an effort to play an active role in advancing the nation and state, both through education, moral and social, and increasing the welfare of the people who make up the nation. I will give a general example of the attitude of defending the country. First, love Indonesia homeland. Second, sure that Pancasila is the state ideology. Third, willing to sacrifice for the nation and state. Fourth, comply with exciting laws and regulation. 5. Maintain and preserve the exciting culture. And the last is the conclusion. The conclusion is that national defense and state defense are crucial for a country, especially Indonesia. Defending the country from various challenges of national defense and defending the country is the duty of the entire population of the unitary state of the Republic Indonesia. Indeed, national defense cannot be achieved if only the state apparatus play a role, because the most important aspect is the population. Likewise, with the act of defending country, this attitude is not limited to the obligation of the military, police, or other law enforcement official, because every Indonesian citizen must have an attitude of defending the country. Finally, we are at the end of the season. Thanks to everyone, especially Mr. Darda. Sorry if there are still deficiencies. Once again, thanks for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.